Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. As I promised, I would bring another video on quadratic equations, and so here is the second video on the chapter quadratic equations. Hope everyone is doing well in this lockdown, and I promise to bring more videos on important topics for JEE. And so today it's our second discussion on quadratic equations. So let's start. So today we will study about location of roots. Okay, suppose we have a quadratic equation fx is equal to ax square plus bx plus c, and we have two roots alpha and beta. Now suppose both are greater than 0, that is both roots are positive, alpha greater than 0, beta greater than 0. That means sum of roots has to be positive, product of roots has to be positive. Minus b by a greater than 0, c by a greater than 0. I hope you remember that sum of roots of a quadratic equation of this form is minus b by a, and product is c by a. So minus b by a greater than 0, that implies b by a is lesser than 0. So if both roots are positive, then coefficient of x square and coefficient of x has to have the opposite signs, and coefficient of x and the constant term will have the same sign. Now the second case, alpha is another part of this case, alpha less than 0, beta less than 0. So both roots are negative, that means sum negative, product negative. Minus b by a less than 0, c by a less than 0, b by a greater than 0. So coefficient of x squared and coefficient of x same sign, coefficient of x and constant term opposite sign for both roots negative. Now this case, alpha greater than k, beta greater than k for k belongs to real. That means both roots are greater than a real number. So I hope you remember that the vertex of this parabola is minus b by 2a minus d by 4a. So you can clearly see that this will be always greater than k, whether it's here k will be here, whether it's whether a is greater than 0 or a is lesser than 0, this vertex will always be greater than k. So minus b by 2a is greater than k, and if a is lesser than 0, that means fk will be negative, and if a is greater than 0, so fk will also be positive. So a and fk will have the same sign, that means a into fk is greater than 0. And if both are lesser than a real number, alpha less than k, beta less than k, then minus b by 2a is lesser than k. The vertex, then if k will be, then k will be here, so the vertex will come before k, and so minus b by 2 is lesser than k, and that thing is same, a into fk is greater than 0. So you can see from this diagram, a into fk is greater than 0, so a and fk will continue to have the same sign. Okay. So now the next case, alpha beta belongs to k1 k2, that is both the roots lie between two real numbers. Here these two are real, here k1 k2 belongs to real. So both the roots lie between k1 and k2. That means the vertex has to lie between k1 and k2. So minus b by 2a has to be greater than k1 and lesser than k2. We are taking k2 is greater than k1 here, and if you see from the diagram, a into fk1 and a into fk2 has to be greater than 0. That means if a is greater than 0, then both fk1 and fk2 has to be greater than 0. If a is lesser than 0, that means both fk1 and fk2 has to be lesser than 0. In other words, both all three of them, a, fk1 and fk2, has to be of the same sign. Okay, remember this thing. Now question number case number 5. Exactly one of the roots, either alpha or beta, lies in the interval k1 k2. Last case both were lying in the interval, this case only one. Okay, so if you see from the diagram here, we are taking beta is lying between k1 and k2. So irrespective of the value of a, fk1 and fk2 has to be of the different sign. If fk1 is lesser than 0, then fk2 has to be greater than 0. If the parabola is a downward, if is of a lesser than 0, then fk1 would be greater than 0 and fk2 will be lesser than 0. But you see, since they are on either sides of the root, so they have to be of the opposite sign. So that means fk1 into fk2 has to be lesser than 0. So case number 6. Now we are taking k real number lies between roots alpha and beta. So what will be the diagram like? Yeah, this one only you can take. You can take k here in place of k1. So k is lying between alpha and beta. Now since here it's a greater than 0, fk1 is lesser than 0. If it had been a lesser than 0, then the parabola would have been something like this. Okay, and here fk1 would have been or fk would have been greater than 0. So again, a and fk here has opposite signs. A greater than 0, so fk lesser than 0. A lesser than 0, so fk greater than 0. So a into fk is lesser than 0, opposite signs. Okay, and from here you can again take, suppose if k is 0, okay, suppose we take k is equal to 0, so 0 lies between the roots alpha and beta. That means a into f0 is lesser than 0. And what is f0? Fx is equal to ax square plus bx plus c. So f0 is equal to c. So a into f0 lesser than c. We can take it a into c lesser than 0. And a into c lesser than 0. Since a is non-zero, so we can also divide it by a square on both sides, and we can make it c by a lesser than 0. Okay, c by a lesser than 0. And so what does it imply? It implies the product of the roots is negative, and it has to be negative because k is equal to 0. So alpha and beta lies on either sides of k. So alpha and beta lies on either sides of 0. So alpha and beta are opposite signs, and so the product has to be negative, as we learned in the first case. Okay. So this is all about the location of roots. Yes, and one thing you should remember, that everything we learned today about location of roots, for all the cases, this has to imply, because we are dealing with real roots, okay, not imaginary roots. So d has to be greater than equals to 0, irrespective of the cases. Okay, so the first criteria which you should satisfy is d is greater than equals to 0. Okay, then all the other criterias. So here is a problem for you all. Find values of a for which this equation 4 to the power t minus a minus 4 into 2 to the power t plus 9 by 4 a is lesser than 0 for all t belongs to 1, 2. So pause the video and complete the challenge. I am also giving the solution, then match your solution with mine. Okay. So this is the solution. We take 2 to the power t as x, then we simplify this equation. 4 to the power t we can write as 2 to the power 2t, since 4 is 2 square. We get this equation and we put x in place of 2 to the power t. So we get this thing, x square minus a minus 4 into x plus 9 by 4a is lesser than 0. So a is greater than 0. Here we can clearly see it. Since a is greater than 0, the graph has to be of this type. Okay. If a is lesser than 0, then we could have said that the discriminant is also lesser than 0, and so fx is lesser than 0 for all x. But here, since a is greater than 0, so we can't take that situation. We have to take this type of a situation. So that means fx is lesser than 0 means x has to lie between the two roots alpha and beta. D is greater than 0 now we are taking. We are not taking d is greater than equals to 0, because if d is equals to 0, then the graph would have been of this type. It would have just touched the x-axis and we would not have got the interval. So we are taking d is greater than 0 only, and then we take d, b square minus 4ac is greater than 0. So we get a is lesser than 1 or a is greater than 16. Okay, now t belongs to 1 by 2. It was given in the question. That implies x belongs to 2, 4, since x is equal to 2 to the power t. Now fx is less than 0 for all x belongs to 2, 4. Okay, this is the thing we are given. So that means one root of fx has to be greater than equal to 4, another has to be lesser than equals to 2. In other words, 2 and 4 has to lie in this interval. If 2 and 4 is not in this interval, then we will also get some roots outside of this interval between the two roots. Okay, so that's why we are taking 2 and 4 in this interval. So that means both f2 and f4 has to be lesser than equals to 0. So we are solving f2 and putting it less than equals to 0. We are getting a is lesser than equals to minus 48. F4 lesser than equals to 0 gives us a is greater than equals to, this is not minus, this is 128 by 7. Okay, so now here we got a is less than 1, a is greater than 16. Here we are getting a is less than minus 48, a is greater than 128 by 7. So we will see a is less than 1, a is less than minus 48. So no intersection here. A is greater than 16, a is greater than equals to 128 by 7. No intersection again here. So we are getting no common region. That means no solution of a exists. So no a exists. If it was a MCQ question, you should tick no solution. Okay. So it's all over for today, and I think that's enough for quadratic equations. Still, if you feel you have some doubts or you want some more from this chapter, then you can easily ask me in the comment section. Feel free to ask. And more interesting and important topics coming up in the next few weeks, so be prepared. Thank you guys. If you like my video, please press the like button, and please share my video with all your friends who are aspiring to give the JEE examination. And please subscribe my channel. If you wish to receive further notifications, then don't forget to press the bell icon. Bye bye.